Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. Morning to everyone. Hope everyone is having a very nice Saturday morning. We're up early for this deadline stream. Yeah, it feels a bit strange. Obviously, we've had 4 Friday deadlines in a row. This is the first one on a Saturday morning. I'm raring to go. A lot to discuss. And yeah, hopefully we have a nice little stream. How you doing, Jordan, on this lovely morning?
Yeah, I'm very good. Hopefully everyone else is having a nice morning. And yeah, well done, guys. You've made it to the weekend. And football is just around the corner. So yeah, the last few minutes will be very exciting because we have a lot to bring you in terms of what we're going to do with our teams.
Have you missed the Premier League football? We've had a bit of a break, but are you ready to get back into it?
Yeah, I think after, 2 or so weeks, especially with the international break, it was nice seeing players play for their country and whatnot and enjoying the matches, in particular England. But yeah, I think it's time now we get back to the Premier League and back to the content we all enjoy watching.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't watch much of the international break, if I'm being honest. I I don't really watch much international football, if I am being honest. I do watch the World Cup and the Euros, etc. But when it comes to like the friendlies and qualifiers, I'm not really too like invested in it. But did you catch any of the games, or I know England played? Did you catch any?
Yeah, I caught the Ukraine one a little bit. I was a bit underwhelmed though by actually the quality in that game. I mean,
Mm.
with the players England had, it just didn't really live up to the expectations I was expecting to watch from that game, considering how many good players England do have. But yeah, I think that was the only match really I watched in terms of international. I'm kind of like the same with you, Huss. I didn't really watch much of the
Yeah.
international football because obviously some of them were friendlies as well. And yeah, there's not much competition in it at the moment.
Okay, so that's the international chat out of the way. Again, Premier League's back, so it's time for FPL, and let's discuss because there is a lot to discuss. I think for our teams, I think I've slept on a few decisions. I'm up, I'm fresh. I made a few decisions, and I might surprise a few in this stream. So we'll get into what my plans are. Um, but yeah, Sherwin says hi guys is in the chat as well. I only saw Maguire's own goal, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah, I just
yeah.
feel a bit bad for Maguire now. I don't
Yeah.
know why he should be playing, but yeah,
I
that
mean,
was a bit mad.
yeah, I mean, it happened for him for Man United, and it looked like he played much better at England. But after that own goal, now it seems like he's haunted by literally bad performance obviously in English football. A bit of misfortune as well for that
Yeah,
as well. So I do feel for Maguire. I mean, that's 3 own goals for club and country for him now, which you don't really want on your record.
yeah. Ara, hey lads, I hope a good game week for everyone. Yeah, hopefully everyone gets a nice green arrows this week. Um, but just starting off with my team, as I have the team on the screen right now, I've got Turner playing in goal. I have a back three of Ruben Diaz, Ben Chilwell, and Gabriel in my back three. As you guys can see from the team selection video, I had Estupinian starting. However, I have made this decision actually to start Gabriel because he has Everton, and I can see a clean sheet potentially. And apparently, the rumors going around is Gabriel's going to start, and that was why I wasn't sure. Because Gabriel's been benched a lot, I wasn't willing to take that risk. But because now it looks like he's going to play with Zinchenko on the left hand side, I'm going to play Gabriel because the rumors are saying he's starting. But I'm not too fond leaving out Estupinian on the bench, if I'm being honest. I still think Estupinian's a good pick this week. Midfield five, I've got Rashford, Mbeumo, Fernandez, Saka, and Sterling. And then up top, I've got Haaland and Jackson. So that is the current starting 11. On the bench, I've gone Pickford, Estupinian, Archer, and Kabore. And that is what my current team looks like with one free transfer. And we will talk about my transfer because it is one that I have been debating for about a week or so. And I finally kind of come to the conclusion that I am going to make the move. And I think the move, obviously, sorry, the ones that don't know, it is actually for Heung-min Son. I will be bringing Son into my team, I'm pretty sure. The debate is only who do I sell? Rashford, Fernandez, or Saka. Those are the three that I've been considering selling one of them, but we'll come on to that in a sec.
In
Just
terms of your team, House,
yep.
if you picture obviously your starting 11 this week, how many points do you think your team will get roughly after this game week?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of how much points I expect, there is quite a lot of away fixtures as well. When I look at it, Man City are away, Arsenal play away, Chelsea are away as well. So I don't know what to make of this game week, because there are a few away fixtures. I think Man City's game on paper is a bit tougher than their previous games. West Ham away, West Ham are playing really well, I think, this season as well. So I don't expect it to be that high scoring, if I'm being honest. But that is because I don't have any Spurs assets. And obviously, if I bring Son in for one of my midfielders, then I'd expect my points to increase. So yeah, I am looking at bringing a Spurs midfielder in, because Spurs play Sheffield in that great fixture at home as well. And I do feel kind of, exposed that I don't have any Spurs assets, and that is a bit of a worry going into it. So I still think it could be a good game week. Look at it overall as a whole, in my opinion. But again, I need the Spurs assets. Let's pull up your team though. Just read out your 11 for us initially, and also obviously plans in terms of transfers as well afterwards.
Okay, so yeah, there's definitely transfer plans involved in this, as if you watch team selection from last video. But without further ado, we'll start off with the goalkeeper. That is Ederson, who has West Ham away. Line up in the back three currently is Udogie, who has Sheffield United at home. Estupinian, who has Man United away. And Trent, who is red flagged now for his hamstring injury, which he won't be back until, expected to be back next week. So yeah he's definitely not going to play against Wolves away. So that will be something I will need to work on in terms of transfers. But moving on to the midfield, we got Maddison, who has Sheffield United at home. Sterling, who has Bournemouth away. Saka, who has Everton away. Foden, who has West Ham away. And Mbeumo, who has Newcastle away. And line up the front is Nicholas Jackson with Bournemouth away. And Haaland, who is the captain, who has West Ham away. In terms of the bench, there's not really much to say, but we've got Areola, the goalkeeper, who has Man City at home. Botman, who has Brentford at home. But there is one thing with Botman. There is a source that has said, even though Botman had an ankle injury, he did avoid having serious damage done to his ankle. But he was seen in training, so ahead of the Brentford at home fixture. So it may be likely that Botman will start in that Brentford at home fixture. But obviously, I do not want to play Botman, because obviously I have Mbeumo, who has Newcastle, and they both clash between each other. So moving on, obviously Hill, he is not going to play against Chelsea at home because he's on loan to Blackburn Rovers. And we've got Mubama, who's got Man City at home, but he hasn't played any minutes for West Ham. So yeah, that is how my team looks like going forward into Game Week 5. I think it's definitely obvious I will need to use a transfer in my team, just because Trent will not be available for that Wolves away fixture. And even though Botman may be available for Brentford at home, I still don't want to play him, obviously, because Mbeumo does play against Botman. So yeah, that is my starting 11 and my team bench out the way. And obviously now we move on to the transfers.
Just before you move on to the transfers, I'm going to read a few comments out, and then we will discuss obviously what you're thinking about in terms of moves. Obviously, you have a couple of flags in your team. We've got Harry in the chat who says, "Good morning, lads." Morning, Harry. Hope you're well. We have Ara again. Should I have at least one Spurs midfielder? I mean, obviously, Jordan, you've got Maddison. I currently own 0 midfielders from Spurs, or any Spurs players at all. And yeah, I think it is a good idea, in my opinion, to have at least one Spurs midfielder, whether that's Son, whether that's Maddison. I think the fixture at home, Sheffield, is really nice. On paper, Yes,
Yeah.
Spurs do have tough fixtures in game week 6 and 7 with Arsenal away and then Liverpool. And obviously, you could expect lower points in those 2 game weeks. But this week, if you're attacking this week, I do like Spurs, and I think they could have a serious, they could have a serious game. Like they could haul easily Madison or Son. What's your view, Jordan? Do you reckon we should have at least one? Obviously, you already own Madison, so he's done really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think owning one Spurs midfielder for this week, I think is a good idea. I think for this week, I'd probably go for, if I didn't have any Spurs players, even though this may seem a bit backwards, I might go for Udogie. But the reason why I would pick Udogie is because of the only one easy fixture he has before obviously he plays much difficult ones. And I think you can afford to bench Udogie for those difficult fixtures that Spurs do have. In comparison, if I did choose to go for Madison or Son, I don't think I'll be comfortable benching either one of those when obviously the Spurs fixtures do swing for the next 2 game weeks. So I think out of an alternative, I would go for Udogie as a Spurs pick for this week, even though it may be better going with an attacking minded player like Madison or Son. But I'm thinking more longer term, when obviously in the next 2 weeks, where obviously you may need to bench maybe Udogie if you don't want to prefer playing him.
Yeah.
When he obviously has 2 difficult fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you do bring in Son and Madison, there's no reason why they can't score against Arsenal and Liverpool. They certainly can. Obviously, it's a lower chance of it because they are tougher teams.
Yeah.
But I think Spurs midfielders longer term, they are actually a good pick. If you bring up the fixtures, actually, if you just if you can get the fixtures for Spurs, so Sheffield at home, very nice as we've mentioned. It's one of the fixtures of the week to attack in our opinions. Arsenal and Liverpool, as we mentioned, is tough. But then Luton in game week 8, you'd want a Spurs midfielder for sure because Luton, as we've seen, they look like the team that we should be looking to target. So I definitely want, if you don't have Son or Madison in your team now, you'd want them 100% for game week 8. Game week 9 is Fulham. Game week 10 is Palace, Chelsea, Wolves, Villa, all the way up to nearly game week 14. So longer term, even the Spurs midfielders make sense in my opinion. So I think if you want to go there, I would recommend. I would recommend it, to be fair.
Yeah, if not game week 5, then definitely start game week 8 when they have Luton away, because the run of fixtures after that are very good for Spurs, and they are scoring goals. So it's even possible in Arsenal Liverpool that potentially there's goal scorers in that.
Thank you to our new subscriber as well, Yashwant. Foden to Son already own Madison. This is a similar. I mean, this is sort of what kind of like your team. You own Madison and you have Foden. So, would I do Foden to Son? I'm not so sure, if I'm being honest.
No.
It looks like Bernardo Silva's still out, I think, and I expect Foden to start. Okay, West Ham. We know how good City are. City don't really. There's not really a tough fixture for City, in my opinion. Every game for City is a good fixture, really, with how good Man City are. So, because you already own Madison, I don't know if double up is the way I'd go. I'd probably still keep Foden, but I do really like Son, and I am bringing Son in. So it is a tough one. If in that position, would you double up on Spurs midfield, Jordan?
I think personally I would, but I wouldn't do it for Foden. If I'm honest, I don't think I would want to take out Foden for Son and go double up on Spurs. I think I'd prefer to do it on someone else that I think hasn't really kicked off in the midfield yet. But with Foden, he has got 3 assists so far this season, and he's looking pretty good. I mean, he was benched in that Sheffield United game, but other than that, he has played pretty much more or less 90-minute football. So, and West Ham away, it's a good fixture for him, I think, where he could obviously do well in again. And I think I would be gutted if I was to get rid of Foden and he ends up getting a goal or an assist in that game. Whereas, and also he's relatively low owned, Foden. I mean, his ownership hasn't really crept up despite having 3 assists.
Can you get to? Sorry, I was just going to say, can you even get to Foden? Sorry, can you get to Son from Foden, money wise?
Money wise, no, I couldn't do it for the sake of the price of how much.
Hypothetically, if you had the money to do Foden to Son, you still wouldn't do it.
No, I still wouldn't do it. I think there's still a lot to obviously hold in terms of Foden because with the midfield for Man City, we don't know who will start for that midfield. And I think, well, Grealish and Foden probably the most
Grealish is
nailed.
out, by the way. I
Oh,
think that's
Grealish is out.
confirmed. Grealish is out, so that makes it more likely to keep Foden, I'd say, probably.
Then yeah, why not? All the reason to keep Foden in your team because again, he's going to be the main focal point most in that game, especially in that midfield.
Yeah, so we'd probably keep Foden. You may not need to double up with the Madison, but again, look, that game could be anything, and Madison could haul, Son could haul, even Kulusevski could haul, so it could be a good one. People are making a big mistake by benching Estupiñán. United, yes, they might score, but the goal threat that he has, I'm sure United won't be able to hold Brighton for long. Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this. Fair comment. I actually have said, Estupiñán could easily get an attack in return against Manchester United. We know Man United have some injuries. Varane, I don't think is ready. Lisandro Martinez looks like he could play a part. Yeah, apparently he's fit, but I don't know if he's going to start. Basically, that's where the situation's at currently. And yeah, Man United's defense hasn't looked great. Onana, has even there's managers that are not even playing Onana. They've decided to bench Onana this week. So yeah, but also to flip it, Brighton's defense, has been quite open. They have conceded a few big goals, big chances, I should say. So yeah, I mean, it could definitely backfire for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
FPL Boobo as well. Is Jota gonna start? Good question. I mean, looking at the predicted lineups, I've seen some predicted lineups that Jota is starting and Luis Diaz is going to be benched. Now, again, I don't know. This is just rumors and hearsay. It looks like Jota could actually start. Now, if I could go Jota to Son, I would probably do the move. I'd rather bring Son in because I know Son's going to start longer term. Son's playing down the middle as well. So I would do it because long term, Jota is a big minutes risk. He's not nailed in that Liverpool lineup, in my opinion. We've seen Luis Diaz play on the left-hand side pretty much every game. And the fact is, when obviously there's been an international break and Luis Diaz goes and plays for obviously Colombia in South America. So because of that, Jota owners, I might be lucky this week where he gets to start because of the travel, etc., regarding the South American players. But long term, I would worry about Jota's starting games because I just think Luis Diaz is the best left winger on that side for Liverpool. And yeah, but this week, he actually could be a hold if you have him.
Yeah, and as mentioned before, Liverpool's midfield is congested now. They have a lot of talent, especially in that midfield. So there is going to be a lot of rotation in between players like Diaz and Jota. So both of them will probably share minutes and probably obviously rotate between one another, depending on whether one's injured or one's fit, or obviously what Klopp prefers in each game.
Yeah, we've seen obviously with the attackers Liverpool have, we mentioned Darwin, Diaz, Jota, Gakpo. It looks like Gakpo might even get a game this week. Showing with a comment, Son is now also a good captain option game week 8 against Luton when City play Arsenal. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Luton, Son against Luton could be a nice one to captain as well.
I think even this game week, Son could be a decent captain to go for. Sheffield United at home, that's a strong fixture, considering Haaland has West Ham away, and even Saka, Everton away. So there's a few players that you could potentially captain if you're brave enough to go against Haaland this week.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to come on to that chat actually in a sec, because I want to get your thoughts on potentially captaining a Spurs player instead of Haaland. And we know Haaland's coming off a hat trick, and we know going against Haaland is always, a big deal. The way how highly owned he is, etc., and his likelihood of scoring goals. So do hold that thought. But for now, let's actually bring up transfers. So the players I am looking at selling, I've narrowed it down. I think I'm going to keep Saka because Everton away is a good fixture, I think, for Arsenal. And surprisingly, obviously, Arsenal haven't actually won at Goodison Park for, I believe, since 2017-18 season, which was about 6 years. So that is a very surprising stat that Arsenal haven't had much success there. But I'm going to keep Saka, I think. So it narrows it down to Rashford or Bruno. Who do I sell? And if you had to pick Jordan, who are you selling out of Bruno, Rashford, and why?
Yeah, we had this discussion off of the stream of this question, and I think I was sticking to my guns with this one, and I would take out Bruno. And
Ooh.
there's a reason for that. Even though Bruno's on penalties, and obviously he's a good, obviously tactician player in Man United's midfield, I still think there's more upside in keeping Rashford because with Bruno, we do often see him being more of a player that gives the ball to the attacking players, so he gets more of the assists rather than the goals. And I think you'll see more of the goals come from Bruno in terms of the amount of penalties Man United may get in the season rather than him scoring in open play. Whereas Rashford, now that Ten Hag has decided to switch him to that left-hand side, his preferred position, we may see more involvement for Rashford open play in terms of scoring goals for Man United. And especially with Højlund up front as well, I think those two can work really well together, as we did see Højlund in the last game, even though he didn't play the full 90 minutes. I do expect him to play the full 90 minutes for Man United against Brighton, so it will be exciting to see how these two players link up. So I think I'm going on that sort of reasoning of why I would take Bruno Fernandes out over Rashford.
Does ownership come into your thinking? Rashford is 34% owned and Bruno is 20%. So Bruno is lower owned as well.
Kinda, yeah. I kind of thought the ownership mattered more when obviously Rashford was more high owned because he was over 40%.
Yeah.
So it would make a little bit more sense to keep Rashford because he's one of those players similar to Saka who they look very clinical and they're most likely our goal scorers for their own teams. And they're players you don't really want to take out, especially with the high ownership they have. But I still think at this current moment in time, I don't think it matters as much because their ownership is similar in a way, only 10% or so difference. So I think there's a bit more upside in Rashford over Fernandes, but some people may disagree with that.
Harry said, do I captain Rashford? I don't know why, but I've woken up and I feel like he's going to cook, but that's purely my Man United bias. I mean, personally, I wouldn't go at Man United at all. I think there's multiple other players, personally, that I would go for. I think Haaland. I think if you've got a Tottenham midfielder like a Son, I'd rather captain Son. Dare I say it, I would probably rather captain a Mo Salah if you have him. I think Mo Salah against Wolves is a perfectly good fixture as well. So there's multiple players I would go ahead of Man United. Personally, I'm not convinced with Man United. So, and I mean, look, Rashford could go and do well. And if you feel like he will, then go for it. I don't want to like convince you the other way. But for me, I'd rather captain a Spurs midfielder if I was going to take a risk and take a punt.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a gut feeling you have, Harry, then go with your gut. I think whatever your decision you make for that.
Okie dokie. So before we get some more, comments read out, we aren't ignoring anyone. So we are going to read a few more of these comments out. Let's confirm some of the transfers because we're about 40 minutes to the deadline. So we still got some time, but I think I've kind of made my decision what I'm going to do. So I am going to take out Bruno Fernandes slightly reluctantly because, again, Burnley in game week 6, Palace in game week 7, Brentford, Sheffield are pretty good fixtures. So he could go and haul and punish me for sure, but I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Bruno Fernandes out and I'm going to bring in Son. That leaves me with 0.6 million in the bank as well. And I'm going to take a bit of a punt on Son. Obviously, he's just come off a hat trick with that 20-pointer, and he's got Sheffield next. Fixtures after that ain't great, but I want him for that Luton game as well, so I'm going to bring him in, I think.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, how do you feel about playing Son against Arsenal and Liverpool in game week 6 and 7?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to play him, I think, and hope he gets something against Arsenal on the counter-attack, because we've seen with Rashford as well, obviously last game week, the way Rashford scored against Arsenal. It was on the counter-attack, and we saw him be clinical when he got the opportunity, and I could see Son doing decent on the counter-attack against Arsenal. They may not win that game, but I wouldn't rule out Son scoring against Arsenal, even Liverpool. I wouldn't completely rule it out.
there are two teams that have conceded goals this season to oppositions, like Fulham scored against Arsenal. So I don't see why Spurs can't do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there, I think. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I want to see what your plans are as well with your team, because obviously you're doing well. We've seen, obviously you're sitting at 8K rank right now, so you're in a very nice position, one free transfer. But obviously with the Trent looks like he's missing out. Well, that's confirmed actually by Klopp. What are your plans for the moves?
Yeah, it is a bit gutting because I wanted to really roll this week transfer. I didn't really want to use one, and especially with Trent being out against Wolves away, that's even more of a massive blow. I thought that was a good game for him, but yeah, we move on. Obviously, one free transfer, 1.8 million in the bank. So I have decided to take out Trent. I think in the team selection, I was adamant to keep Trent, but due to his hamstring injury being confirmed and him being out for at least a week and not returning, I will take out Trent, I think, and obviously look at it next week in terms of how he's progressing near the time in the team news, which provides if he's able to play in the next fixture. But yeah, I'm taking out Trent, and I've had a lot of thinking, obviously, after the team selection video we did on who I'm going to replace for Trent. There is one player I did mention in that last stream, if you guys watched that, and the player I'm going to bring in for Trent is going to be Saliba for Arsenal. And obviously, he does play Everton away in game week 5. So it's a strong possibility for a clean sheet, I think, considering Arsenal are playing away at Everton, but they have struggled. If I'm honest, Everton, they don't look good at all. I'm actually calling that they are going to be relegated this season, as they've only got one draw, and that was against a newly promoted team. So I don't think they're going to be in the Premier League for long, but I still see a nice clean sheet, I think, from Arsenal. And this is purely a 1 week punt. I'm not going to keep Saliba for a long-term hold. I think it's just a temporary replacement until I sort of figure out what to do with Trent, if I want him back or not for next week, depending on if he's fit or not.
Okay, interesting. Obviously, I think Trent will be back, to be fair to what for it's worth. I think he'll be back next game and starting for Liverpool. Saliba's an interesting choice because fixture's good this week. But looking at Arsenal's fixtures, game week 6, they got Spurs. Game week 7 is Bournemouth. Game week 8 is Man City. Game week 9 is Chelsea. So there is a bit of a trickier fixtures there.
That's the reason why I didn't want him long-term hold, because I got Chelsea players, I got Spurs players, and obviously that's going to clash a lot in the upcoming weeks, having an Arsenal defender, unless I bench Saliba, of course. But I don't know. Obviously, Botman will be back by then. Hopefully, he stays fit. So I could possibly swap Botman for Saliba, but I think I may take out Saliba. We'll see, obviously, how my team looks like after this game week ends.
Have you considered going straight to someone like Trippier instead of going to Saliba? Because obviously Trippier has some decent fixtures in game 6 and 7, I think.
Yeah, the reason being why I haven't gone with Trippier this week is because it's similar to Botman. I could play Botman against Brentford, but then it will clash against Mbeumo. So I kind of have to hope for Mbeumo to score or Newcastle to keep a clean sheet. And if neither either score or get a clean sheet, that kind of blacks out 2 players in my team. So I'm going to hold off bringing a Newcastle defender this week.
The fixtures, Sheffield and Burnley, though, in 6 and 7. Where you could see potentially clean sheets. That's what all I was kind of the angle I was coming from, really. For longer term.
Yeah.
Longer term, Newcastle defender, you'd probably want to play them ahead of maybe Saliba.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Longer term, I definitely want to play a Newcastle defender. It's just for game week 5 purely. I want to avoid it. But after that, I totally agree with what you're saying. Definitely you want to have a Newcastle defender, whether it's Trippier or Botman or Fabian Schär, because their fixtures do look good long term until game week 11 when they have Arsenal. Okay,
interesting. So I am actually going to confirm my move for those that aren't aware or just joining in. The move I'm planning on making is actually Rashford out. Sorry, not Rashford. Bruno out for Son, and I think I'm settled on that. If you guys are just joining in the stream, if it's your first time watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are enjoying the content, hit that like button as well. Really helps support and the channel. So do help us out, guys, and like and subscribe. Okay, so let's make the move. I want to confirm, make the transfer. There you go. Bruno out for Son. Confirm. There you go. That is done. Okay, let me just fix my screen for you guys.
That midfield definitely was better with Rashford and Real Son, Saka, and Sterling, all different teams playing all other players in that team. So yeah,
because the double up with Man United, I wasn't sure. The more I thought about it, when I've been watching Man United, it's just not convinced me really, and they don't score many goals. So that's really why I've decided to get rid of one. But hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me. But yeah, we'll see. Get another comment here from Remzinho. Should I do Baldock to you, doggy? Roll the transfer or bring in Madison or Son? My mids are Saka, Odegaard, and Buemo, Fernandez, Sterling. I think, I mean, I'll answer this one first and I'll let you give your thoughts in it. But for me, straight away, I'm thinking Odegaard out for Son. Personally, for me, Odegaard out for Son or Madison. Whoever, if you can afford Son, I'd go Son. If you can't afford Son, then I'd do Madison in for Odegaard. How about you?
Interesting. I wouldn't take out Odegaard. If I'm honest, I would take out Fernandez. I'm not sold on Man United, obviously, and I've gone without Man United players so far this season, and I think at the moment, I don't think Man United's the way to go until we see some more structure from them in terms of assets. I would take out Fernandez and bring in Son for this Sheffield United at home fixture. I think it's a great one to have him for, and especially in that position now he's playing in, should have a good game. And I think he'll definitely outscore Fernandez, and hopefully the rest of your midfield do perform as well.
Yeah, the reason I've gone with the reason why I've actually said take out Odegaard is because you've got double Arsenal there, and it's just one Man United asset with Fernandez, where I had two Man United assets. So gives you a bit of variation rather than doubling up on one team. So that's what I'd say Odegaard out for me. It looks like Odegaard's not on penalties anymore either. So I still think Fernandez isn't a bad pick. I know I've taken him out, but I still think Fernandez is fine this week. And even midterm, I think Fernandez is fine as an asset. But having double Man United is what more I'm not sure on. Maddie with a comment. Any news on Turner? Please just play Turner if you have him. I think if he doesn't start, then you'll have your auto sub come on anyway. But I think Turner should be fine anyway. Comment here from Ara. I have Richarlison and Trent in the bank, 0.4 million. I don't have enough money to do Richarlison to Madison. Should -4 Trent to Shaw. Comment for you, this one.
-4 Trent for sure. I mean, I wouldn't take a -4 to take Trent out and bring in a Fabian Shaw.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out your question. So, who's the other player that you're taking out as well as Trent?
So, the average Richarlison and Trent doesn't have enough money to do Richarlison to Madison. Should I -4 Trent and Shaw? So, I'm assuming they'll take out another midfielder to get the money to be able to do both Son in. Sorry, not Son in, Madison in and Shaw. So, Madison and Shaw in, Trent and Richarlison out.
Oh yeah, okay, I see. I mean, yeah, both players. Well, Trent's definitely not available. Richarlison, not confident at all with him. -4 to Trent Shaw. I don't know if I'll do it for Shaw though for this week because they have a tough fixture. I don't see a clean sheet for Shaw, if I'm honest, against Brentford. I mean, I would probably do if you have your doggy. If you don't have your doggy, then I'd probably do it for him instead because there's more likely a clean sheet in it for Spurs against Sheffield United at home.
Okay. John with a comment, what to do with João Pedro? I'm lost. I think you probably just sell him. If you've got João Pedro, I'd be probably getting rid right now. Calvin FPL. All right, lads. All right,
All right,
Calvin. Hope
Calvin.
you're well. Nice to see you after a while. Hopefully, we get you on the stream soon. It's been a while, but yeah, we'll have to chat soon. Um, instant clips. I swapped Jackson with Hoyland. Thoughts? Ooh, I mean, this is bold.
I
Swapping
like
in,
it.
swapping in Hoyland already after his little cameo against Arsenal looked good.
Yeah, I do like it. If I'm honest, I like the move. Even though we didn't see much of Hoyland, I did like the look of him
Mm.
in the few minutes he played against Arsenal, and this could be a massive, nice little transfer in instant if it does go the way of Man United, if they do end up scoring.
Yeah, for me, I wouldn't go there right now. I think I want to see more. It's just we only saw a little cameo from him, even though he looked good. But I think for me, it's a wait and see. Still, I want to see how he fits into that Man United team and how he looks, starting games, etc. Captain, we're going to come on to captaincy in a bit. Just get the transfer questions out the way. Ramsey, thoughts on Saka to Son? If you've not got any Spurs midfielders, I hear it why you'd want to go Son, because I do like Spurs, and Saka could be a decent move out personally. If you don't own the Man United assets either, if you've got someone like Bruno, I'd rather take Bruno out before I take Saka, I think. But yeah, there could be, it could go against us as well, like taking out someone like Saka who's got Everton to bring in Son. It could backfire, but I think that might happen a lot this season where we take out a good player for another good player.
Yeah, absolutely. And Saka is on penalties, so he doesn't even have to score from open play. He could potentially get a penalty kick and score from there. So that could be a little misfortune if you do take out Saka. Well, yeah, if you do take out Saka for Son, but Son may be on penalties too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably still do it if you've not got any Spurs midfielders and you've got Odegaard, let's say, then yeah, it could work. Animation says Madison to Son, 2 sideways. Yeah, I think that is, I wouldn't do that. I'll just keep Madison and hope he outscores Son. Who do I get instead of João Pedro? I can afford anyone under 8 million. So under 8 million striker, Jordan. Who are you going to right now?
Instantly, what came into my mind was Awani.
Oh, Awani.
Yeah, Awani. I mean, this guy hasn't blanked yet, and he has scored against tough opponents as well for Nottingham Forest. And I've liked the look of him. I've honestly getting a goal against Arsenal. He gets a goal against Sheffield United, even the goal against Man United, and gets an assist against Chelsea. So he's having a great season, and he's only 6.1% owned, and his price is 6.6 million. So affordable.
What's the fixture saying as well?
The fixtures for him, he's got Burnley at home in Game Week 5, so nice fixture. After that, though, he's got Man City away in Game Week 6, Brentford at home in Game Week 7, then Crystal Palace in 8, Luton in 9, and then Liverpool in 10. So it's a mixture of difficult and easy fixtures. But I think for Awani, I don't think it really matters. I mean, he's proven he can score in big teams like Arsenal, Man United, assisting in Chelsea. So yeah, I have great confidence in Awani. I think for Nottingham Forest, I think he's a great player and an outstanding one for him.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So yeah, Awani is an interesting shout. I mean, if I was going for a striker right now, under 8 million, I mean, I don't know if I'd have Jackson right now. I think Jackson still could do decent. Who would I go to? I mean, Jesus is interesting. Maybe not Jesus against Everton, Spurs, Bournemouth. Okay, City's tough. Jesus at 7.9. Only ownership is 3%. Very low owned as all Jesus. He's back from injury. Scored against Man United to make it 3-1. Don't rule out Jesus. I think Watkins again. Watkins, if you want someone long term and you don't want to worry about doing transfers and whatnot, 20% owned, so it's not too high. A lot of managers have kind of sold Watkins, and I know he hasn't really he hasn't scored this season. Some will say, some will look at that and think there's no point in bringing him in because he hasn't scored. But I look at that as, his goal will come, and he's maybe been a bit unlucky not to score so far this season. Palace next, good fixture. Chelsea, Brighton, Wolves, West Ham, Luton, Forest, Fulham, all the way up until, even Spurs, Bournemouth. You can go all the way to Game Week 14, and the fixtures look very nice long term for Watkins. So Watkins, Jesus, for sure is where I'd be going if I wanted a striker.
Yeah, Watkins, absolutely great fixtures long term. I think Aston Villa have one of the best long term fixtures in a pretty much a succession. And with Watkins as well, he's had the chances to score. He's either been denied by the goalkeepers or he's had half chances to score and they've missed and gone wide. But yeah, I still like him as a pick. He's had 3 returns. That's more than other forwards have had, like Nicholas Jackson, for example.
Okay, so finally, let's come on to your transfers. I'll let you confirm it if that's what you want to do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll put Mbama back in because I'm not taking a -4. So, yeah, just a little recap on my transfers. So, I am taking out Trent and replacing Trent with Saliba for Arsenal, who has Everton away. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a clean sheet in there for Arsenal. And that does leave me with a lot of money, 4.5 million in the bank. So, that makes my team even more cheaper. In terms of I can really afford anyone I pretty much want now. But yeah, let me just make the transfer. So Trent out, Saliba in for 1 free transfer, and confirm that now. And yeah, here we go, guys. Saliba is now in the team.
Okay, looking good. Looking good. We've got a comment here. Animations. Cheers, lads. Love the channel. Keep it up. Thank you, Animations, for the kind words. Really appreciate that. Showing Alvarez. Yeah, Alvarez again. Good shout. Looks like he's starting a lot of matches now. And last season he was on the bench a lot. But if he's going to get game time, we know how good Alvarez is, and definitely a good pick. Richarlison to Kulusevski instead of a -4 to bring in Maddison. Would you be going Richarlison to Kulusevski for free, Jordan? Because you can't afford Maddison.
Yes, I think I would. I think, yeah, with the fixture, Sheffield United at home, I think Kulusevski could have something in this game. Just started because one of these games where you see a newly promoted team, you do see a lot of diversity in the team where players like Kulusevski potentially could get a nice return in that fixture. And I think I prefer it, to the -4 to bring in Maddison. Even though I think Maddison will probably make up for it, I still think it's better to go with a free for this week.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I ideally would want Maddison and Son, so I wouldn't want to compromise on that. But -4, I'm not sure I'd want to take a -4 either. So if I was in your boat, I actually wouldn't know what I'd do. Is there no other way you can get money at your team without taking a hit? Then yeah, I'd probably just bring Kulusevski in, but I'd want Maddison over Son if I'm being honest. All right, our teams are pretty much set. I want to have a captaincy chat because there's been a lot of, Captain Son, Haaland. Who are we captaining? And I mean, have we considered non-Haaland this week? But there is a lot of people talking about potentially going against Haaland. We know the risks. Have you considered it at all?
No, I've not been brave enough to consider it. I think because of my rank, I think it's conflicting with my thoughts about captaining another player. Maybe a bit of a sideways move, obviously, to go captain Haaland because everyone else is pretty much going to do it. But it will be interesting, the effective ownership between Saka, Haaland, and maybe Son. It will be interesting to see how many people are swayed away from captaining Haaland this week, who has West Ham away, in comparison to the other fixtures where Everton you think is more easier than West Ham and obviously Sheffield United, which is even more better for Spurs. So yeah, it will be interesting, but I think I'm set on Haaland. And I think it's hard as well to go against Haaland because he scored a hat-trick last game week. I mean, it's hard to not captain a player that's had a really good game week previously after that massive haul. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but I'm not brave enough to go against Haaland this week, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. So you're pretty set Haaland. You won't go anywhere else. I mean, I have thought about it, and obviously I've got it on Haaland right now. Let me just switch the device over to Son. But I have actually considered going. I've considered going Son captain. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Now that might sound bold. I mean, it is bold. Obviously, going against Haaland any week is bold. But yeah, I have considered going Son just because he's playing down the middle. Um, I really liked his performance last week. I know when you score a hat trick, obviously more eyes. And if you only got one goal, a lot of us maybe don't even look at bringing Son in if he just got the one. But because he got the hat trick, he's playing down the middle. Looks like he could be on penalties as well. Yeah, it is tempting me going Son captain, and obviously I want to take. This game is about having fun as well, and I think Son is the fun pick. But I know Haaland, what he can do. I know last season, I think Game Week 9 when I captained Salah,
Yeah.
and Haaland went and played against Man United and scored a hat trick, and then that kind of killed my whole season that early on, and I felt like I never recovered from that Game Week 9 last season. So I do know the risks going against Haaland, but I think I want to have a bit of fun, and I wouldn't be completely against going Son. If you have him, I think he's a perfectly good option because West Ham have been a bit of a bogey team for Man City in recent years, in recent seasons. They don't really score too many against West Ham, but yeah, if you are considering it, let us know, guys, in the chat. Are you going to go Haaland or maybe do a little poll? Actually, I could do a poll on Twitter. Let me just put it up.
And also, so I have one question. Do you think Son will outscore Haaland this game week? And if you think he does that convince you to captain him over Haaland?
I mean, that's the thing with Haaland. It's such a hard thing to kind of predict because Haaland could score a hat trick in any given game week, really, or to a brace. But if you look at all the predicted data models and stuff, they do have Son scoring pretty high, and I think I can see a scenario where, because if you look at it on paper, Son has the better fixture for sure at home as well. I can actually see Son outscoring Haaland. It's just, if I wasn't playing this game maybe as seriously as I do, and I was playing casually, then maybe I'll just go Son because Son Sheffield at home. But yeah, I can see it. But I'm gonna ask the chat actually. Who are they captaining? Because it is a bit of a discussion point, really. So yep, now it's in the chat, guys. Who are you captaining? Poll, Haaland, Son, or other. I've gone for in the chat. Let us know. Do vote as well if you can, and then I'll check the poll in a sec. But yeah, man, I am tempted going Son because I feel like that's the reward potentially if Son goes and scores a brace and Haaland blanks, then the reward is massive. Obviously, if Haaland goes and gets a hat trick and then Son blanks, then we know what pain could be.
Yeah, so it could either go one way or another, or both of them could have a good game, and that may not be as bad as well with the right captain pick. That still could be the same positive rank increase. I think even if Son does well, Son captain, that could outweigh it due to his ownership being low.
Just see some comments coming in. Trippier in for Bell or roll. I've got Estupinian, Saliba, Udogi, and as Bayer as well. I think you're fine to just roll and not bring Trippier in. I think Trippier's maybe next week. Trippier in game week 6 is where you want to go because this week, Brentford could easily score.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same as that's pretty much my defense is Estupinian, Saliba, and Udogi now. So yeah, I'm holding off on Trippier as well, Elliot, for this week just because he has Brentford. And if you do have Bremo as well, that kind of does clash between those two players. So yeah, I would hold off for now.
Instant clips. Madison is my captain, and I also own Haaland. Nice one. Elohim, as a non-Son owner, I hope Richarlison surprises new owners in that number 9 position again. Yeah, now surely Richarlison doesn't start up front because with the performance Son had, he should nail that spot down. But again, we don't know for sure. If you have Son, you should captain him, says Ali Mack. Do you agree with this? If you have Son, you should go captain.
I mean, I'm 50-50 with that because, yeah, he is expensive. He's not a premium price. He's just literally under that 9 million. But regardless, Should you captain him? That's the question. Yes and no. I mean, yes, he has a good fixture. You've brought him in for this fixture, and you would pretty much captain him if we didn't think Haaland was like this superstar who can score hat tricks in any fixture that Man City do have. But at the same time, it's a good fixture for Son, who has Sheffield United at home, a newly promoted team, and Son's playing in a good position up front, pretty much where Kane would play. So I'm split with this, Ali, if you should captain Son or not. But yes, I would captain Son if I had the choice. If I did have him in my team, I might be swayed to captain him over Haaland this week. But if you should or not, it's totally down to those Son owners because
Risk appetite as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the risk appetite. It could go really well or it could go really bad just because of the swing of Haaland's ownership and captaincy effective ownership against Son's one. So yeah, I'll leave that up to you.
So you would still do it basically. You would still captain Son if you had him.
Yeah, I mean, we still, like you said, Huss, we still got to have fun. Yeah, you still got to have fun with fantasy. We can't always take it serious, even though we're obviously FPL.
Yeah,
we're trying to get a good rank in our ranks, but yeah, you got to have fun at the same time with it. And captain Haaland week in and week out, it's not going to do anything for our ranks.
Really, yeah, I hear that. I mean, if you can go against Haaland, I mean that you could be very rewarding, but again, obviously that it's that risk. You know, if it goes wrong, then you know what happens, as we've seen. You know, last season when we've gone against Haaland. So, I mean, if you want to captain Son, I think it's a good decision for sure. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have bought him in. I do think he's a good pick this week. I do want to captain him. I do want to do it.
Yeah, because there's definitely goals in that fixture, and I don't see it coming.
Something's telling me Haaland's going to score like 2 goals against West Ham as well. Because West Ham have been decent, I guess.
They have surprised me, West Ham, if I'm honest. I didn't think they've played this well this season, especially with Declan Rice. Massive, big player to lose for West Ham, but a nice replacement for Ward-Prowse. But it's interesting, the dynamics of West Ham now, whether I definitely think they can stay in the Premier League. And so far, they've really stepped it up from last season. And it's going to be an exciting game to watch.
Also, I'll quickly let you check the community draft, if you can, very quickly, because I don't know if you're on that. Guys, can you shoot a like button? It's free. Yes, guys, if you are in the chat, if you are enjoying the content, please hit that like button. It always helps us out. It helps the channel grow massively. So likes, subscribes, everything is all appreciated. Yeah, Elliot, thank you for that. Liking the video. Well, yeah, I really want to go Son, man. I just don't know if I'm on a bottle it. I've got 7 minutes or so to quickly decide. Someone. Nah, I don't think I'm going to do it. Too scared. Too scared to go against Haaland, I think.
I mean, yeah, it's fair. There's reason to be because of the danger it poses if it does go wrong. Like we saw last season. We both went for Salah captain when Haaland had Man United, and yeah, that affected our ranks.
That is in the back of my mind. You know, what if?
Yeah.
You know, we were looking at Salah. He's got a good fixture at home and whatnot. But yeah, 5 minutes, I think, or 6 minutes.
But yeah, I'll just show you the community draft. I have it up here now. I'll just switch the screen.
Okay, cool.
It did really well, if I'm honest. Because
how many points
we have 75 points from Game Week 4.
Oh wow! What's the overall rank of this?
It's still 3 million overall rank.
Mm.
So yeah, somewhat to do, but it's had good game weeks in the last 2. 75 in this one, and obviously 74 in the last game week. So the points are picking up. So if I go to the pick team, This is what the team looks like in Game Week
I
5
think
for
that
you guys.
you got to do some moves as well, because Grealish out, Darwin is potentially might not start as well. I'm reading a few comments out as well while you bring in players that are under 10%. You might want to make some moves. FPL Boo Boo says do it. I think in regards to me captaining Son, don't you think it's a bit risky to go without Brighton assets? They play United. Yeah, possibly. Brighton, Mitoma, etc. Could do well. That game is a very, very important game for Man United. I actually think for their season, really. Look at it. I mean, I know it's still very early and it's mad to say that, but it's an important game. Man United have to win. Jesus or Darwin. I think this week I'd go Jesus. Darwin may not start. Could be Gakpo up front, because obviously I think Darwin got back quite late from the internationals, and he also felt a bit of fatigue, muscle fatigue, and was actually taken off at half time for the Uruguay fixture. So yeah, I'd think Jesus for sure. But I love Darwin, man. I just think if he nails it down, and then I think later on in the season, Darwin's going to become an option for us. Hey guys, just came into the stream. Would you start Onana or Turner this week? Bloody hell. Turner.
I mean, yeah, you might as well start Turner against Burnley at home and hope that he does play. But if not, you got Onana. Come on, hopefully.
Yeah, I'd go Turner. I think just play Turner.
Yeah.
Onana probably will concede. Look, guys, there's 4 minutes to the deadline. Do I captain Son? I've got to make my decision right now. I don't like making last minute moves.
Or Edit says to you, don't captain Son. Spurs won't score more than 2.
I can see Spurs scoring 3. I think Spurs will win we'll come on to our predictions, but yeah, I think Spurs will score 3.
Yeah.
Erling says 10 diet. What is the poll saying? Looking at the poll, 56% of you say Haaland, captain, 25% are on Son, and then 19% are on other. Look, I don't think I'm gonna be brave enough to go with Son, if I'm being honest. But I could regret that. I just have a feeling.
Animac says yes, Haas captain Son.
I've got 3 minutes, man.
There is a split opinion in the chat on the Son pick for Haas, guys. So yeah, I don't think I'm
going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. I think Son in itself, having Son in itself, I'm quite happy to have him anyway. So do I need to captain him?
Yeah, because Son's ownership 15%.
I mean, that's going to be. I should go up.
Yeah, still compared to have, even though you don't captain.
I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to have fun with it.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. I'll see you guys Sunday. I'll see you guys Sunday when this goes wrong.
Well. I'll be hiding behind that SETI.
I'm not watching that Man City game. I'm not watching that Man City game. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Son. I've got it, captain, guys. Ali Max convinced me. All it took is him to say, just captain Son.
Oh wow.
1 minute.
We got a comment from Harry. Transferring Gibbs White, only 2% ownership. Owned Burnley at home.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Have you done your transfers? Because you've got a minute.
Yeah, it will be Gibbs White. Obviously, we take out
Grealish. You got to be quick.
Yeah, we'll take out Grealish for Gibbs White.
I'll let you do that. But yeah, I'm thinking that Son could make or break my season. I feel, honestly, if it doesn't go well, then I'll be screwed. But we'll see on Sunday, innit? We will see on Sunday.
But yeah, that is the team, guys. Darwin is benched. A 4-5-1 for the community draft.
Okay, let me just put down the screen. You got a captain Son. You got Bowen against City. And it might be too late. Damn. You gone Bowen captain.
Well, there you
We'll
go,
see.
guys. The community's now picked Bowen as captain for Man City. So good luck.
We'll see how that goes, man.
You never know, it could surprise.
But yeah, look, I'm gonna take a screenshot of my team. Oh, I don't want to work on my phone because the game's updating already. So just for those that missed it, maybe I have actually captained Son. I literally did it last minute. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm already feeling a bit uneasy. But look, I mean, this game's meant to be for fun as well. I do play it for fun a bit. So we'll see how Son does. Is it 3 p.m. today?
Yeah, 3 p.m. Well, kickoffs are free.
Yes, Spurs are 3 p.m. right?
Yeah, Spurs are 3 p.m. The early ones.
Man City are 3 p.m. as well. So we'll know by 5 o'clock today how it goes, and hopefully Son does outscore Haaland. But I'll be watching and keeping track of that. But yeah, you the man, Huss, says Ali Mac. Tempted to follow suit. Hopefully you went with it, mate. Best of luck all. Yes, best of luck to everyone in the chat that has hopefully you all have a good game week, really.
Yeah, good luck, especially if you win against Haaland, like Huss has done, and captain another player open. Very best of luck for you guys. I will be rooting for you, and especially for us.
Yeah, we'll need it. But look, if this is the type of move I feel like I need to make if I'm gonna climb as well, climb up the ranks and stuff. But yeah, we've got to do score predictions before we do head out. So I will quickly bring up the fixtures. Share the screen. Hold on. Just very quickly, score predictions, and then we'll wrap the video up, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of games on this Saturday.
Hold on. Let me just fix. Can you see that bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit better. Okie dokie. So we have 7 fixtures today on Saturday, so quite a few games. Let's start off with the early kickoff. I will be watching this one. Wolves at home to Liverpool. Interesting game. I think it looks like Gakpo might start ahead of Nunes. So how do you see this one going, Jordan, in terms of score predictions and the way it plays out?
I think it'll play out for Liverpool. Even though they're playing away to Wolves, I think Liverpool still have that attacking threat and have their overwhelming players to do it and get the win, 3 points. So I'm going to predict a score of 3-1 to Liverpool. I still think Wolves will score against Liverpool because I think defensively Liverpool are lacking, especially without Trent this week.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 Liverpool win. I think Liverpool will keep a clean sheet. But yeah, so I'm going to go 2-0. I think Salah probably to get on a score sheet. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Szoboszlai or someone like that. Aston Villa Palace, another one, 3 p.m. kickoff this one. How do you see this one going?
This is an interesting one. This could go either way. I think Aston Villa or Crystal Palace could win this game. Hard to decide which, but I'm going to go for a draw, I think, for this fixture. I'm going to go with 2-2, I think.
2-2. Any reason, like, goal scorers, who do you expect to score?
I do expect Ollie Watkins to get his first goal against Crystal Palace, especially a home fixture for him. In terms of Crystal Palace goal scorers, I think Eze can get on the goal sheet again.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think those two probably will be the goal scorers for Aston Villa and Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Nice.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Villa. I think Villa will get the job done being at home, so I'll back the home side. Fulham Luton, next one up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's the fixtures. The target is always Luton because they have struggled to get off the mark on the Premier League, and I expect Fulham coming off a draw against Arsenal to do the job. And yeah, I think Fulham can win this game with ease, especially at home. And I can see potentially 2-0 Fulham. I think they keep a clean sheet, and I see Andres Pereira getting on the goal.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 win as well for Fulham. I think I'll go 2-1. I think Luton might get a goal, so I think 2-1 Fulham. But yeah, I think it'll be a decent game. But yeah, I do expect Fulham to get the win against Luton. Now, this might be obviously the big one. Obviously, Man United at home to Brighton probably is maybe the fixture of the day, possibly. Um, Obviously, your team, Man United, we know all the issues currently at Man United. They need a win. They've got Bayern Munich midweek as well, I think. So it's a big game already. And Brighton are a good team. Obviously, we know how well they're playing. Do you see Man United getting the win here?
Yes, it's hard for me as a Man United fan to say that they can convincingly get a win, considering all the back chat that's happening and what's going on in the club. But it is a good game for him at Old Trafford, nonetheless, and it is against a difficult side, Brighton. But I'm going to go for Man United win, considering all of the
madness.
Chat, yeah, all of the madness and chat we've had with this fixture. I'm going to go with 2-1 Man United.
2-1 Man United. Who do you think scores?
I think Højlund will get his goal, first goal for Man United. I think even Rashford as well getting the second, and Bruno Fernandes to assist.
Okay, I'm going to go for a draw in this game, I think. I think Brighton might get a point. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. But yeah, hopefully Bruno doesn't punish me too much, doesn't get a goal because I've sold him. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I think Brighton will nick a point. Spurs at home to Sheffield. Obviously, one I'll be focusing on because I bought in Son and then captained him. He has a fixture against Sheffield at home. A lot of us have Maddison, you doggy as well. Obviously, you own him as well. So big game in FPL sense. How do you see this going for Spurs?
Yeah, I think it's going Spurs' way, regardless of what the score will be. But yeah, I think it's a 3 points for Spurs against Sheffield United, especially at home. I'm going to go with 4-0, and I can see Maddison scoring 2 and Son scoring 2 goals in that game.
I mean, I'll take that. Obviously, as a Son captain, I've Son 2 goals right now. If you told me that, I'd bite your hand off. But I'm going to go for 3-0 Spurs. Hopefully, routine win. I'm just in a comment here. I was going to captain Son, says Dan, but it looks like he's starting on the wing. Has anyone got that? I mean, has anyone had that confirmed? Or I mean, I don't see that happening. But hopefully he does start down the middle, and if he does, we saw what he can do. And yeah, surely Ange goes on middle rather than a Richarlison, etc. I don't think he can go there again. But yeah, for me, look, 3-0. I think Spurs should win quite comfortably. And yeah, let's see. 5 o'clock, we'll know the damage. West Ham at home to Man City, the next fixture. Do you see this one being an easy win, comfortable win for Man City?
I don't think it'll be the most comfortable win. I don't think for Man City. It will be a challenge to obviously break down West Ham because they do look much stronger this season, and they are playing at home, where Man City are playing at their home stadium. So it won't be the most easiest walk in the park, I think, for Man City. But I still think Man City can get the 3 points as they want to stay top of the table and continue their win streak. I'm gonna go with 3-1 Man City. I don't see a clean sheet for Ederson. As much as I want him to keep a clean sheet, I don't see one in this game. And I think Haaland and Foden could be the goal scorers for Man City.
I think Man City will win again. I agree, won't be comfortable. I think West Ham, the way they play, obviously in the low block, they do sit back and then they look to counter-attack with Bowen with his pace and exploit that. Maybe they have a bit of success. So I do think West Ham will score. I don't really see a clean sheet for Man City. Hopefully I'm wrong. Obviously, I own Ruben Diaz, so I need a clean sheet. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Man City. I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be a good game. And yeah, but I expect Man City to ultimately win. Next fixture, evening kickoff, Newcastle at home, St. James Park against Brentford, who have looked very good as well this season. Brentford playing really well and Bournemouth's on fire. How do you see this one going, Jordan? Newcastle at home to Brentford.
Oh yeah, I quite imagine it's going to be a very end-to-end fixture. Both teams looking for those 3 points, and Brentford definitely want to keep their win streak as well up, as they haven't lost a game yet this season. But also Newcastle want to bounce back from losing to Brighton heavily. So there's a lot to play for both these teams. In terms of score prediction, this one's hard again to call because Newcastle are stronger at home. They are away. I am going to go with a Newcastle win, and I think it will be 3-2 Newcastle. I think there's a lot of goals in this fixture, and I think the goal scorers obviously for Newcastle Isaac on the score sheet, Tonali possibly as well, and for Brentford in Buemo to get the goals.
Okay. I'm gonna go for a narrow win, probably more narrow, but yeah, I still see goals in this one. So I'm gonna go. I'm actually back Newcastle here. Hopefully, Mbuemo does score and wipe any clean sheet. But yeah, 2-1 Newcastle with Mbuemo scoring as well for me. Hopefully, a penalty or something like that. We'll take that. Moving along, so that's the Saturday fixtures at the way. Sunday, we've got two fixtures. First one is Bournemouth at home to Chelsea. A lot of us are tripled up on Chelsea assets. Are they going to disappoint us again against Bournemouth, or do we see redemption from Chelsea? How do you see this one going? Because again, Chelsea need to win.
Well, I think for us owners of Chelsea assets, we're hoping for some redemption from that Chelsea loss against Nottingham Forest at that home game, at that home stadium, especially. So yeah, I do expect a bounce back from Chelsea one way or another, regardless if they would lose or win. I need to see goals from Chelsea to make them look like they're worthwhile to go for, especially with their fixture run. And they definitely need the 3 points, I think, to obviously make a good start.
Do they get it?
I think they do get it against Bournemouth. I think it's the fixture they could bounce back in, and I'm going to go with 2-1 Chelsea. Nicholas Jackson to score and Sterling to assist, but also Sterling to score a goal as well in that fixture. But also Solanke from Bournemouth to score.
Okay, I'm going to go with I'll go 2-1 Chelsea as well. I think Chelsea will win, and I think Bournemouth will get a goal. So I don't see a clean sheet for Chilwell owners. Moving along to Everton at home to Arsenal. We've discussed Everton actually have a very good record. I think Arsenal haven't won at Goodison Park in about 6 years, which is a surprise. Do you see this kind of hoodoo carrying on, or do you think Arsenal will go there with the way Everton are playing and Arsenal will win?
Yeah, I think Arsenal will win this, despite the past history at Goodison Park for Arsenal. I think this season we've seen a much better, diverse Arsenal like we did last season. And Everton, on the other hand, struggling, potentially facing relegation from the Premier League, only drawing so far in their matches. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a massive Arsenal win, I think, for this. I'm going to go with 4-0, I think, Arsenal. I'm feeling really strong about this. They need the 3 points. They want to keep in contention with Man City. There's a lot to play for Arsenal and a lot of, obviously, morale in their team. So, yeah, I think Saka, Odegaard, Jesus can get on the score sheets for that. I think there's going to be a lot of Arsenal goal scorers in that game.
I think it's going to be a tighter game than people think. I do kind of see something in that hoodoo. I don't think Everton will win or anything like that, but I think it'll be a tighter game. So I'm going to go for an Arsenal win, but I think it'll be 2-1. I think they'll find it a bit tricky. So I'm going to go Arsenal 2-1. The Pickford's going to concede, but I'm not starting him, and I don't really, I'm not relying on Pickford this game week, which feels nice. So yeah, I think Arsenal to win 2-1. Moving along to Monday Night Football, and that is Nottingham Forest at home to Burnley. Final fixture for this game week. What do you think of this game? Matt Turner, does he keep a clean sheet against Burnley?
Yeah, I see a strong clean sheet against Burnley for Nottingham Forest playing at home, and they have one of their most dangerous players in that forward position, Albany, playing for them as well. So, and in the midfield, Gibbs White too. I think, it's a strong win for Nottingham Forest at home. I'm going to go with 3-0 Nottingham Forest, and I'm going to put it out there. I will need to score a hat trick, I think, for game week 5, and Gibbs White to assist.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Forest. I think Forest will win the game quite comfy. I don't think it'll be a great game to watch. I know it's a Monday Night Football fixture, at evening kickoff, but I don't think it'll be great to watch. I don't know why, but I just think, it should be one of those games, 2-0, comfy Forest. Yeah, that's where I'll go. And yeah, that is the score predictions out the way, guys. Let us know your score predictions as well in the chat. How you think this week's going to go. And obviously, we're back tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time for the Knee Jerk live reaction. Make sure you do join us. It's going to be a great one. You're going to see my reaction to potentially disaster class if Haaland goes and does what, if he goes and scores a hat trick. Obviously, I'm captain Son, so we'll discuss all the fallout from game week 5 in tomorrow's stream. So make sure you do tune in, and it's one that you can't miss. So make sure you are subscribed so don't miss out on any content. Hit that like button as well if you are enjoying the content. And yeah, few more comments before we wrap it up. Dan says, I've read this one. Just did Usula to Archer, keeping Gabriel, says Spaghetti and Beans. I captain Kulusevski at last minute. I don't know. Haaland or Kulu, my captain now.
Oh.
Wow. I mean, hopefully you've not. I mean, hopefully you've gone Haaland if you don't know who it is.
I will be rooting for you, Arrow, if it is Captain Kulusevski, because that's a very bold captain pick over Haaland.
And Harry also says, I've captained Rashford. No logic to it, just pure vibes.
Why not, Harry? Yeah, good shout.
I went for Son captain. I'll be hiding behind the sofa when Haaland plays West Ham. Yeah, I think we'll all be doing the same, us Son owners. But look, let's back Son, and we'll find out how he does come 3 o'clock. But yeah, I think that is it from us. We are going to wrap it up here. I think we've just gone over an hour for this deadline stream. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like button, guys. I've got to mention it because some people watch it and don't like, but I just got to remind you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We are close, very close now to 900 subscribers. And yeah, share the video to your friends, whoever watches FPL content. Let them know. Obviously, we're a new channel trying to grow. So yeah. Anything else you want to add, Jordan, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, it's been a very long, eventful deadline stream, but we got there at the end, guys. So yeah, good luck everyone for this game week 5, whichever your decisions you're making or made in this week, especially your captain picks. Hopefully you do well. And yeah, take care. Enjoy your weekend as well as enjoying the football. And we'll see you Sunday to see how we've all done. Hopefully we've all had a nice week, I think. But until then, take care and see you soon. Yeah, just to add as well, before we go, I might stream again later today, obviously on my channel, for those that don't know, my Let's Talk LFC channel, which I haven't posted on for months. I will be trying to post more content on that channel as well. So if you are, a football fan and you like football chat, Let's Talk LFC YouTube channel, I'll probably post a match reaction to Liverpool's game against Wolves on that. So make sure you guys check that out. I'll probably tweet it as well. But yeah, for now, that's it from us. Take care and have a good weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Peace out.